That's right, folks, that NHS, the same NHS that you were told to stand on your doorstep and clap like a seal for 2 minutes last year, is racist. It's racist against white people, and it's not just bog standard racism, it's institutionally racist. You see, the NHS has now become a political, well, it's come under the political ownership of the left-wing extremists. It's very much a political football and a stick to beat conservatives with. And this institutional racism is real. It's not the made-up so-called institutional racism that certain demographics claim that certain organisations have, or institutions, because they don't like these organisations and institutions. This is real. This is happening. This is being advertised. It's being encouraged. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. And it needs to be rooted out. I mean, so much for the NHS being a socialist experiment, a national organisation that the whole country loved. Because back in the day when Great Britain wasn't overcrowded, the NHS actually worked. It did its job. You had doctors, nurses, consultants, managers, not many managers, mind you, and that's it. Everyone loved the NHS. It was free, even though, even if you didn't work. It was free. You paid for it through your wages. Of course, you still do. But back then, it was like a pittance out of your national insurance. But now there are all sorts of non-jobs, jobs which are political, jobs that make no sense. And now it seems they've got jobs where they pay some schmo to stand in a hospital corridor who then points at white people and calls them all guilty for something. And they get paid like 75k for it. That's the NHS now. It's political. Even though there are good, of course, doctors, nurses, consultants who want to do their job, save lives, do good for society, help people out, cure people. They're also the bad ones. There are a lot of Labour left-wing activists within the nursing profession. And now this organisation seems to be obsessed with diversity and multiculturalism. What the hell has that got to do with fixing a broken arm, giving someone painkillers or an operation? What the hell has that got to do with anything? You see, multiculturalism and diversity are Marxist concepts. They are divisive and they're designed to weaken a society. Now, take this article, for example, by the Daily Mail, and the headline is, "The white NHS staff are told to study their privilege and that they should feel uncomfortable by a website that trains workers for senior roles." So basically, employees have also been advised to listen to lived experience of staff who come from an ethnic minority background and to work on empathy. So if you want to be promoted in the NHS and you're white, then you have to feel bad for being white. You have to feel guilty and you have to feel uncomfortable. But how do you prove that? How do they know you feel uncomfortable? Do they go around testing hospitals? Do you have a black manager or something, a diversity manager going around checking people, especially white staff, and asking the white staff, how do you feel about being white? What do you do? Do you stand there and go, oh, I feel terrible. Oh, forgive me. Is that what you do? This is pathetic, isn't it? Anyway, so in a blog post, someone called Asinine Benjamin, or shouldn't that be Asinine Benjamin, the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Lead at the Nursing and Midwifery Council. Now, imagine the money she's being paid. She's probably being paid hundreds of thousands of pounds of taxpayers' cash to be in this job and tell people, white people, that they're racist. Anyway, so she recommended 5 new anti-racism tips for white people in the NHS. Jesus. Right, here we are. So the first one is, don't be defensive. This isn't personal and it's not really about you. Everybody is at a disadvantage when our formal institutions perpetuate inequalities. I mean, yeah, I reckon nearly every organisation and institution here in the UK, probably in the US and the rest of Europe as well, because we're all woke as shit now, they are more likely to promote someone of ethnic, diversity, multicultural background over a white person who's probably more qualified, you never know, because they don't want to be seen as racist and they want to feel the wrath of Twitter and Black Lives Matter. And the second one, don't say I'm not political to excuse yourself from this conversation. Right now, ignorance isn't an excuse. You can't unsee what you have seen. No idea what the hell that means. But I'll tell you what real ignorance is. It's treating white people like this, who haven't got a racist bone in their body, and then labelling them as racists. That's ignorant. And the third one, You don't have to be vocal, but do listen. Listening means being open to hearing what black and minority ethnic people are saying. Be open to their lived experiences. If they choose to talk about them, you would be hard-pushed to find a black or Asian person that doesn't have a personal story of racism. Well, there are plenty of white people with stories of racism as well, I can assure you. Racism swings both ways. Number 4 on this shit list of doom. Work on your empathy. Visualize yourself in the other person's shoes. Discrimination is dehumanisation, and the only way to see a person as human is to empathise with them. Well, guess what, sweetheart? White people are human too. So why don't we empathise with the poor white pensioners who live on a pittance of a pension, live alone, and have struggled through COVID and most winters. In fact, for most of their twilight years. Well, I and many others are still waiting for a government body. A government body that's being paid for by taxpayers' cash to show some sort of empathy with the white victims of the Muslim grooming gangs in Rotherham. And of course there are, believe it or not, white victims of violent race hate attacks. Now, do we empathise with these people, or do we just ignore it because of their white privilege and that they might just be white supremacists? Everybody suffers. And the last one, which is the worst, be uncomfortable. Why the hell should I be uncomfortable for being white? It's an immutable characteristic, my skin colour. It's not my fault. I'm pretty sure before I was born, I didn't ask to be born to a white mother and white father. I am what I am. Every culture has its good bits and bad bits, and I refuse to apologise, feel guilty for, and be uncomfortable for mine. Now, if anyone should be uncomfortable, it should be this stupid idiot, Asinine Benjamin, or whatever its name is. If you ask me, this person should be sacked as the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Lead at the Nursery and Midwifery Council. I can guarantee you inclusion in that title doesn't mean including white people because reasons. And whatever wages this stupid, ridiculous person, this racist person was on, should be put into the NHS to help fix people. It's that simple. Now, I don't know about you, but this is offensive to me. I think it's a racist thing. And right about now, I'm starting to feel like a race hate victim. And I'll tell you what, folks, it's things like this. It's stupid ideas like this that turn displaced, poor, white people into the arms of the real racists, the real fascists, the real Nazis out there. And they're just swelling their ranks. By demonising white people, you're not going to get us on your side. You're not going to get us to empathise. And sadly, I have a funny feeling this shite, this woke, progressive, Marxist bollocks will continue until our society in the West is weak enough for it to change for the worse. Anyway, that's what I think. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, are you going to clap for these racists the next time Boris Johnson or someone suggests you have to do so on your doorstep like a fucking seal? I definitely won't. Right, that's it. Please comment, share, subscribe. If you want to support my channel, then you can buy me a beer. Because by buying me a beer, neither YouTube nor Google get their censorship-soaked hands on whatever you decide to donate. So screw them, and thank you very much. And until my next video, comment, share, subscribe, and Roger Trout.